Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Sid, and look, if you go to Rutgers and you have a meal plan, no matter if it's a 120 plan or a 210 plan or even a 285 plan, we all want to make the most out of our meal swipes. So that's why in this video, I'm going to be ranking, reviewing, and making a tier list of every place on Rutgers campus that you can use meal swipes. Now, because of COVID, some of the places still haven't reopened yet. So if you're watching this in the future, it's possible that places like Knightsbridge and Rock Cafe have reopened, and if so, that's great, and I'll make videos about them in the future. But for now, I'm just going to review every place that has been open during my time at Rutgers and that I've gone to. This is going to be a two-parter because there's a lot of places. I'm going to give each place like the appropriate amount of respect and actually talk about them. Let's get right into it. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing every place, and the criteria I'm going to use when reviewing and doing the tier list are convenience. So that's like the location, the speed, do they have seating, and like the hours. Service, is the service fast and friendly, that sort of thing. Quality, how good is the food. Variety, do they have healthy options, plant-based options, vegetarian options, all that sort of thing, halal options, all that. Value, how much can you get for a meal swipe. And then bonus, what's my favorite thing in each place, if applicable. So yeah, and for the tier list itself, I'm doing 5 tiers. So bottom tier is meh. Second to bottom tier, decent. Third tier, solid. The fourth tier, so the second to the top, is really good. And the top tier, scrumptious. Starting off, we're going to talk about perhaps the most polarizing place at Rutgers dining, and that's Broward Commons. If you don't know, Broward Commons is the College Ave dining hall. It's very centrally located, which is nice. It's, near the student center. It's pretty close to the yard. It's close to the river dorms, close to the Bishop Quads. So there's a lot. It's very well located and very convenient in that sense. And, there's decent hours. And it's normally not terribly crowded. So on all those things, the convenience is pretty good. The thing that really that hampers Broward, and the reason why it's maybe not the most beloved, is the quality can be a little bit hit or miss, especially for their entree section. It can be pretty, it varies a lot. The variety of food is actually decent most of the time, but generally at Broward, I like to stick to the cook to order stuff, like the stir fry and the pasta bar, and sometimes I'll have a taco bar. Those are normally pretty good. Like anything made to order at Broward is typically solid. And obviously the pizza is normally pretty good, even though it's very oily. But yeah, Broward, it's not bad, and in a pinch, it works pretty well. But it's definitely, in my opinion, in terms of the quality, probably the worst dining hall. But I'd still say it belongs in decent tier. Next up, we got Cafe West. Cafe West is also on College Ave. It's in the academic building, the West Wing. Not like the TV show, like the place. And Cafe West is nice. The value is it varies. The a la carte value, if you just get stuff, because it's a little cafe, is only $10, which isn't great. But if you get the meal deal, which is where you get a sandwich, or an entree, plus a side, plus a drink, that's a decent value for a meal swipe. The hours are not the best on I'm pretty sure it's closed on weekends normally. And it doesn't open until 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, which is not ideal. Hopefully those hours are longer in next semester and in the future as the staffing gets better. But yeah, Cafe West, they have a decent selection of sandwiches. My favorite sandwich at Cafe West, actually it's probably not a sandwich, it's probably their this really good bagel with lox spread. It's not quite as good as just having smoked salmon and cream cheese on a toasted bagel, but it's pretty solid. So that's probably my favorite thing in Cafe West. And it's a very convenient option. It's got a decent amount of selection. I'd say it definitely belongs in solid tier. Next up, we have Henry's Diner. Henry's Diner is on Livingston campus. It's at the Libby Plaza. It's a very convenient location, but convenience-wise, it kind of falls short in that the hours aren't great. It's only from 12 to 5, and there's almost always a line, which is not ideal. But the reason why there is always a line, the quality is excellent. There's a really good selection and variety of food. It's a very big menu, and the service is almost always great. I've never had any bad experiences with the service there. So Henry's Diner, flying colors for those things, but the convenience isn't the best. Also, the value isn't the best. You just get $12 in value for a meal swipe, which isn't great. But yeah, I'm still a big fan. I think the food has always been very good. My favorite thing to get that's a regular thing on the menu is probably the the roasted turkey and bacon sandwich. It's very solid. But my favorite thing that I've ever gotten there was actually a seasonal item, and there's like a story attached to this. So, this is the day when this is kind of a sad story, but it was the day Robbie Coltrane, the guy who played Hagrid in the Harry Potter movies, the day he passed away, and I was like very bummed out about it because the Harry Potter movies are like a big part of my childhood, and like Hagrid is like one of the most iconic characters from them, and I was very sad. But I ended up going to Henry's Diner with my friend Sophia and her friends. Shout out Sophia. And I got the pumpkin pancakes, and dude, the pumpkin pancakes, they filled my heart. I I felt so much better. I was still sad about the whole Robbie Coltrane thing, but they helped a lot. So, moral of the story: if you're dealing with the harsh loss of a childhood icon, Livy's pumpkin pancakes will help you out. That being said, I'm gonna throw it in the pretty good tier. Next up, we got Harvest Cafe, a relatively new location. It just reopened in spring 23. Harvest Cafe is like it's on Douglas in the Food Sciences building. Not the most convenient location, and the hours aren't the best either. I believe it's from 9:30 to 3:30, and they only accepted meal swipes from 12:30 to 1 during last semester. Hopefully they expand that because actually the meal swipe deal is very good. You get like $18 worth of food. I think it's a sandwich or entree plus a drink plus like a side like a fruit or something like that. It's pretty solid. And the food quality is pretty good. It's always like made to order and like pretty healthy, health conscious stuff. Lots of plant-based options. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, I definitely recommend Harvest Cafe. And yeah, it's overall it's a very solid place to eat. The quality is great. There's typically lines, but they typically move pretty quickly. Like they get the food out pretty well, and the service is good. So yeah, overall a very solid place to eat. I would definitely put it in the pretty good tier. Next up, we got Woody's Cafe. Woody's Cafe is on Bush campus. It's located. I haven't been in a little while, but if I remember correctly, it's located right like near the psychology building, and it's pretty good. They have like a lot of like good deli meats and like deli sandwiches. My favorite thing I got there was probably their ham sandwich. It sounds very basic, but it was like really like when you have like a good deli sandwich, you can tell like the meat is very high quality and that sort of thing. And they have pickles too, which is really nice. Yeah, the value is all right. I mean, it's basically standard for cafes. Like you get a center plate item, a side, and a drink. But yeah, overall, it's a solid place. But the location isn't the best. It's kind of really out of the way. But yeah, I would say overall, I would put it in the solid tier. Next up, and for our final entry in part one, we're going to be talking about Cook Cafe. Cook Cafe is located inside the Cook Soon Center near like the rec center. And it's kind of just like Cafe West. Like literally the menu is basically the same. They have a few different options in Cafe West, but overall it's like basically the same selection. They used to have like a cook to order stir fry from what I've heard, and I really hope they bring that back because that'd be really cool. But overall, I mean, it's kind of just like Cafe West, but on Cook. It's nice, and the hours are pretty decent. It's open till 11 p.m. if I remember correctly, and it's it's a solid option. It has seating unlike Cafe West, which is nice. But overall, I feel like since they're so similar, I just have to kind of put it in the same tier. So I would say it's very solid. So solid tier. And that's it for this video. The next part of this video is going to come out hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. See y'all in part 2. Peace.